Gentlemen, Jim Boeheim's time at Syracuse has ended. Maybe a little ambiguously, if you watch the post-game press conference, he kind of left the door open. He said it's the school's decision. You're not talking to the right guy. About 2 hours later, well, the school came out and said, thank you, Jim Boeheim. We're moving on. What did you guys make of both this announcement and the timing of it today? And then we'll get more into Boeheim's legacy. But Laval, let's go to you first. Was this very surprising to you how this played out for a legendary coach like Jim Boeheim?
Yeah, I think it was, it was a bit confusing at the end. I think many people expected this could be, coach's last run at it. So that part wasn't surprising necessarily, but how it all played out, I think was a bit of a surprise. But look, it doesn't take away from any of his accomplishments, what he's meant to college basketball. I mean, he's been the coach at Syracuse since before I was born. And so it's synonymous, Jim Boeheim and the Syracuse Orange, and and making that program a brand, and one of the schools that kids think about, like John, North Carolina is one of, Duke and North Carolina, and that Syracuse is up there on that platform, and Jim Boeheim has a lot, if not everything, to do with it. So you would like for him to be able to do it in his own way, if we were writing the movie script, obviously it didn't go like that, but like I said, it doesn't take away from it, what coach meant to the game and what he's done. It was just a bit, odd at the end, but a heck of a coach and heck of a accomplished career. So he'll go down as a Hall of Famer. We all know that, and what he's meant to college basketball, is hard to put into words.
John, how will you remember Jim Boeheim?
One of the gatekeepers of the game, second all-time in wins behind Coach K. So, his name is going to be synonymous with Syracuse and college basketball until, the end of time. It was definitely kind of weird how he went out. It was almost like the school was like, hey, Jim, what you going to do? And he was like, I'm not ready yet. And the school kind of had to make the decision for him per se. Because a lot of coaches announce it and they say it's your last year, and they do the what the coach at Notre Dame did, but can't argue with his accomplishments. National championship, Final Fours, was relevant for 40 years in the game of college basketball, which is hard to do, which is going to be even harder to do now with NIL and things like that. So, just appreciate the greatness. I'm glad I got to witness this. I got to play against Jim, which was kind of fun in the Garden. So just blessed to have those kind of guys around to, carry the game on and push it forward.
Only thing I wish, Greg, I wish he would have been able to announce Adrian Autry. If it was going like you would have drawn it up, he would have been able to put Adrian on the pedestal and talk about why why he should be the coach and why he's getting the job. That you would have liked to have Coach be able to say that and speak on him, because they've been together so long, what he means to Syracuse and why he's the guy.
Yeah. I think that's a good point because, as you mentioned, Adrian Autry is now Syracuse's head coach. And if this was, your good old fashioned normal coach retirement tour, or not even a tour, if this was just a planned announcement, you would think, given the relationship those guys have, Jim Boeheim would want to do that. It kind of points this to me towards this not being mutual. Is that fair? I mean, John's nodding.
Yeah, I think that is kind of, because in the press conference, he's like, well, it's not up to me. It's not up to me. It's not up to me. And, I think we were thinking that we were like, oh, maybe he's going to talk to his family and, kind of.
I did not expect it to come out that same day.
Assess the situation. And then there's like, the school was like, put this on Instagram. We love you, Jim. And that was it. So definitely could have been handled better. I actually thought that maybe he did not think he was going to lose a game today. I don't think he was prepared to lose today. And give that announcement or give that speech. And, there might have been some disagreements, because I discussed this probably 2 or 3 months ago in the Field of 60 episode. They should be pretty good next year. So, like, he's going to have a pretty good team. He's got some kids coming in. So, he's probably looking at that like, man, I could probably go out a little better next year, but obviously the school probably made that decision for him, and he'll be around, man. So he'll be fine.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys on that
That
Syracuse
combined with
roster.
no quote, right? There was no quote from coach in the
Mm-hmm.
release. It was just like, thanks.
Yeah.
Hey guys, just a reminder, our sponsor for today's episode is Run Your Pool. They are hosting the Field of 68 Bracket Challenge. This year, they are giving away $1,500 in free prizes. It's all an incentive for you to get on there and find out just how good their platform is. I've been using them for my bracket pools for years. I've used them for Super Bowl squares. I use them for everything that I need to use them for. The biggest survivor pool that I'm in for both NFL and NCAA tournament is by Run Your Pool. So go check them out. The link's below. Tap in.
Yeah, it felt a little odd. He kind of, I mean, he said straight up, it's not up to me. You're talking to the wrong guy. Ask the school. And it's like the school had this saved in their drafts. They were ready to go based on how it played out. So interesting, man. Obviously I think the world of Jim Boeheim as a coach with all that he's done in his career. He's one of the greats from this generation of coaches who are leaving. I would be lying to you though if I said that just the way I will remember him feels a little different after the last couple of years, but really this year. I mean, he was really sour to the media this year. And I have a hard time believing some of those post-game press conferences where he was real ornery to student reporters didn't play some sort of role in this. Now, I don't want to overread it, but, you know, for such a legend that he is, it's just surprising to see a school seem ready to move on from someone of his stature. So very interesting to say the least. Any thoughts on Adrian Autry, just around the horn before we move on? I mean, certainly I think no one was surprised to see this name, but Mike Hopkins is another name people would throw around for the Syracuse job. What are your early thoughts on Adrian Autry, Laval?
More than deserving. You know, he's been there. Again, you want to see, like, when you have it stay within the family, right? Obviously, I think a ton of people thought Mike Hopkins, if it would have happened, you know, a few years ago, when he went to Washington, yeah, Adrian was the next man up in everybody's mind, and he more than deserves it. So I'm excited for him.
Yeah, definitely deserves it. I think it's good for continuity of the program. Obviously, they have recruits and things like that that they can, you know, still be in contact with. It's not a whole new regime. So, you know, Syracuse is a program that's going to be here, you know, relevant for a long time. So it was a good hire to keep it going, keep it rolling, and keep it in the family.